to the Bailey. Just sit beside me and purr into the microphone.
Yes. She can make a cameo. You are listening to Castles and Cryptids and Cats, maybe. If you hear some purring, it's Bailey.
Yeah.
I'm Alanna.
And I'm Kelsey.
And we are keeping it together, folks. So by the time this comes out, it'll be March 4th, and I will be much less stressed because we'll be over our little trip ski, and all the hoops will be jumped through and everything will be done.
Yeah.
Not that I'm not excited, but
I am so excited for this trip. I definitely need it.
Right.
I can't wait. It's gonna be so much fun.
I
could go there. I could go there and just sit and like eat in restaurants for a week and then just come home and I'd be happy at this point.
Right? After our pandemic, well, it's like things that give you cabin fever, right? It's lack of stimuli, lack of new places. It's like, it's just like, wait, going out to dinner somewhere? What? Or like, it's gonna be like the first time I've been out of Alberta in like a long time. Feels like. But and the Haunted Museum, that's what I'm excited about too for our most podcast, adjacent. It's in fact, I should probably watch some, everybody talks about ghost adventures on podcasts that I listen to, like, and That's Why We Drink, they often talk about them, and a lot of people do that are paranormal podcasts and stuff, and I'm like, it sounds like funny, but I haven't watched a lot of the episodes. So
my dad watches it a little bit, and so I've just caught stuff when I'm at their house, and from what I've seen, they'll be like replaying like footage of like something, and I like 1,000% can't see it. And I'm like, nice. And they're like, yeah, look, you can see like it's a biped and it's got 2 arms and it's clearly got a head, and then they just show you a completely pitch black room with like a superimposed stick figure on it, and that's supposedly walking, and I'm like, I don't see it.
Yeah, I have thought about that when we're watching like the Ghost Hunters. I have watched a lot of that one where, yes, I have read since that some of it, the production staged or put a little out of context, which was disappointing to me. But what I liked is that they mostly tried to disprove and prove, right?
Yeah.
And like they're plumbers, right? The taps guys, so they like can tell what certain sounds are instead of. And from what I heard, Zach Baggins is more like, come in here, like, come at me, ghost, come at me, demon. And then like people think he really wants to like have sex with a ghost. But he's got all this cool shiz in his haunted museum.
I'm excited for the haunted museum. It'll be very cool.
I've heard a lot from people that have been there, or like, there's the rooms where you have to like sign a waiver or whatever, and be careful what you fucking look at or take a picture of. I can't remember which artifacts he has compared to which ones are in like Ed and Lorraine's Warren.
He has the W or whatever box.
The Dybbuk box, right? Because that's what cursed Post Malone, he said.
Yeah.
He like got into a bunch of bad luck after he was there and like touched it or whatever.
And when I went on to the Haunted Museum's website, it even said that they apparently have some of Charles Manson's knuckle bones.
Oh, so I remember seeing, I was looking on his website too, I think, and that he has kind of a lot of, I guess, death and murder paraphernalia, you could say.
There's
like the Museum of Death in like California. I've heard that one's really pretty morbid too. So I think this one should be fun. It sounds very kind of like death adjacent, but then like cursed objects and stuff too.
There's everything. Bailey's just staring up at me. My human.
She's loyal. My dog was scraping the floor outside like he does, just because he's like a too. I don't know. He wants to use our carpets as a scratching post. I don't know. So we're doing Scottish lore today. So far away from Nevada.
Yeah.
Completely different type of
desert.
Yeah. And we've only done UK crimes, which was barely brushing the surface of how the UK is several different countries.
Yeah.
And there's so much Scottish lore. And obviously I probably could have gone on it forever because I'm Outlander obsessed, as my sister told me. Someone asked her if she watched Outlander and she went, no, but my sister's obsessed, or something like that.
I thought you were gonna say, she said, no, I don't need to. I hear about it.
I was like, I have been outed.
Yeah.
Hey, it's a good show. It was recommended to me by my good friend George R.R. Martin. Yeah.
I'm enjoying it, so
not bad. Although, like with most shows, we were talking about how some of the first few seasons sometimes you have to kind of slog through.
Yeah,
but it's like that with The Office. I get it.
Yeah, when they started just their endless what is it? Oh my god, what am I? Oh, revolving door. That's the word I'm trying to think of. Revolving door of the managers at the end. Ugh.
That's frustrating too. Yeah.
I hated that.
Yeah. At the beginning, it was like Michael Scott as a character. It was just so cringe that you were like, is this like, do people actually just deal with this? You know what I mean? It was kind of like, what is happening here?
Yeah.
But
now Bailey's just staring up at me going, what are you doing? And like pawing at my arm.
So cute, as long as she doesn't pull out your earphones. I was wearing mine the other day, and then I was wearing these dangly earrings, or sorry, I was wearing a mask, and it has those adjustable things. It was an AMA mask, and it has those adjustable ear things, and I was pulling on it, and I accidentally pulled my earring instead of the face mask, and I was like, ow.
Just rip out my own earring.
Yeah. Oh, thank God I've never actually, not gotten something ripped out a piercing.
Yeah, that would hurt.
Right. No, this is a little on brand that we're starting this in March because Celtic, we're doing Scottish now, but like St. Patrick's Day is coming up, Celtic Irish.
Oh, yeah.
We didn't really think about that, but we were like, we, want to do some lore and legends and stuff, kind of get back to our roots a little bit. I love doing this stuff.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah, and I also think we should do some classic cryptids soon, maybe too, like Bigfoot. Just saying.
Yeah.
The one we talk about in our trailer.
Yeah.
So I went into the folklore, and there was so much. I just had to like pick some. And it's funny that we referenced The Office because Michael Scott's going to come back by the end of it. You'll see.
Really?
Michael Scott.
I was gonna say it can't be Steve Carell just like appearing.
He's a vampire. Yeah. He's immortal. He's an angel, clearly. Okay. And yeah, you know what? This one should just go up to our Scottish bud. He gave me one of our first shout outs on Instagram when we first started our podcast. Yeah. Jay, who had a podcast called the Salty Pet Speculation Podcast for a little bit there, and he encouraged us, and it was really something I needed to hear at the time. So
yeah,
if he listens, I really appreciated it. So there was one story. The first one that came up was Fingal's Cave. And there's just so many. I did kind of the main ones listed on one of the, maybe it was Scotland.org, right? Like it's kind of like a travel website, but it also gives you an overview of the main legends. So I liked it. And this also sounds really cool and awesome. I wish we could go visit it also. It's an enormous sea cave on an uninhabited island in the Inner Hebrides called Staffa. and the Hebrides are craggy islands forming an archipelago. One of those words you're like, okay, how do I say it? Off the northwest coast of Scotland. It's the super rugged like landscape, jagged rocky coastline. And if you want to see it, you should watch the Hebrides Islands on the Edge, which is a great documentary series narrated by Ewan McGregor.
Wonderful.
I love him, so I think that's why I watched it on Netflix or whatever it was. It was very informative.
Ewan McGregor is pretty great, so.
And just so very cute, I must say.
Yeah. My old roommate I came home every day from work, and this is when I think she was either hadn't started school yet and didn't have a job because she was going to be going to school like full time. And every day I came home and she was either watching whatever Die Hard movie is that introduces his younger son on the plane. It's like the
Hard movie.
It's like the fourth one or something, and like
could be sure
something like that.
Yeah, I've seen them all like but once.
Yeah, she was either watching that or she was watching Moulin Rouge, like on repeat. God.
And she wasn't a fan of Train Spotting.
I have no idea, but
that one's pretty rough.
I tracked it, and one time I came home from a Monday to Friday, and every single day that week I came home at the exact same scene of Moulin Rouge, meaning she started within the same 5 minutes every day for 5 days straight.
Oh my God, is he in that movie like a lot? I haven't.
Yeah, he's like the main one, other than, oh my God, why am I spacing on her name?
Oh, Nicole Kidman? Or
yeah,
I was gonna say I know there's a bunch of chicks in it. Yeah. That's funny though. Every day.
Yeah.
Some people can just watch the same movie. When I was like 5, I could watch Beauty and the Beast over and over again.
Yeah.
Oh, too funny. But sometimes those nature ones get kind of sad.
Yeah.
So this cave is formed entirely, or I should say, quote, this cave is formed entirely from hexagonally jointed basalt columns, a similar structure to the Giant's Causeway in Northern Ireland. So that's pretty cool, I thought.
Yeah.
It's the Giant's Causeway is made of like big giant rocks too. And this cave is known for its natural acoustics. So the name Fingal has a few different purported origins. One is that the cave may have been named after a hero from an epic poem by an 18th century Scots poet historian, quote unquote, James McPherson, who said he translated the poem from ancient Gaelic. So that's could be where it comes from. The name of this cave, Fingal's Cave. Or the name may have been taken from an Irish general named Finn, who had a band of warriors. Finn was the father of Ossian, I believe it is, a traditional bard of the Gaelic speakers. So this is a quote too. Gaels migrated into Scotland from Ireland until the Norsemen began their raids on the Scottish coast, and the stories of Fingal would doubtless have come across too. So he was also revered in Scotland after a time, after coming over with the Irish folklore. Mm-hmm. But my personal favorite legend has it that Finn McCool, a mythical Irish giant, built the Giant's Causeway between Antrim and Scotland so that he could cross the ocean without getting his feet wet.
I mean,
that's cute.
That's a pretty good reason.
He was like, I would like to go between these two places, and I'm a giant, so fuck it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's cool. And then that must be who we have restaurants here. It's spelled more like Fionn. Yeah, I was gonna say it's spelled like Fionn, but I was never sure if it was Fionn or Finn McCool. I guess it's Finn.
There was one by my house. Oh, and we went there after you and Pat told me about, was it Meat Pie Day or something? Yeah.
Oh, maybe. Because I think we had ordered from them like through like delivery and never actually made it out there because we're lazy as fuck. And but so yummy. I love a good meat pie.
Yeah, we ate there a couple times, but it's the one by my house is closed now, sadly. I think there's still one or two in Edmonton. I don't know where they are.
There's one in my neighborhood. I know that. Yeah. Oh, that's crazy. That's even like chain restaurants shutting down. Damn.
Yeah, big ones, big ones. Like Milestones and Moxies and stuff are going under in my neighborhood.
Especially more recently, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm.
Ugh, we don't even want to go there about the economy in Canada because it's a whole can of beans right fucking now.
Yeah.
Politics. All right. That's why we're talking about other things.
Yeah, Scotland.
Yeah, oh yeah, Giant's Causeway. Okay. The cave inspired several songs like Felix Mendelssohn's Overture of the 1820s, the Hebrides, inspired by the weird cave sounds, and Pink Floyd's Fingal's Cave. So yeah, that one's just more a cool cave that may or may not have giant-y origins.
Very cool.
Yeah. And there's also this cool whirlpool. I know it's not just like a jacuzzi or something.
Yeah. I immediately thought of like a hot tub.
I know. I was like reading or hearing about it. It's like, is that actually like a thing? And it is. The Corryvreckan whirlpool is in the Gulf of Corryvreckan. Sorry, that is harder to say than I thought it would be. Corryvreckan. It's in the narrow strait between the islands Jura and Scarba off the west coast. And the name is derived from the Gaelic. Oh no, should have looked up Gaelic, although it probably wouldn't have helped much.
I know, I ran into problems looking up pronunciations.
I'm not like I know from listening to Wine and Crime that Kenyon started, she's an Outlander fan, and she started doing Gaelic on Duolingo. She would annoy the other ones with her Gaelic pronunciations. But it seriously is not the kind of language you can just like look at the letters and hope that you could pronounce it. So now
it's not phonetic at all.
God, should I try and Google it? Because it looks like Quar Brecon. But that doesn't sound like it's pretty enough to be Gaelic. Oh, fuck it. Whatever.
We apologize in advance.
Sorry, Gaelic speakers. Okay. The name, the Corryvreckan whirlpool, and I'm sure I'm not saying that one right either. No, that one's, I think I am. It's derived from the Gaelic Corryvreckan, I don't know, something along those lines, which means cauldron of the speckled seas or cauldron of the plaid, which I thought was cool.
Of the plaid.
Yeah, speckled seas or plaid.
Because those are the same or similar.
Right? It's going this way, it's going that way. Yeah. So it's actually the third largest whirlpool in the world. Yeah, I thought that was kind of cool. I didn't know we had giant ones, but apparently we do. And what it makes up a whirlpool, because I had to do a sidebar on whirlpools. Well, I didn't know. I'm still thinking of what you do in your bathtub, get it whirling around, or you could do it in a jacuzzi too, or like a small, when you're a kid and you go to like swimming with your class or something, and then everybody starts going in like the big old hot tub trying to get the water going.
See, we did that
man-made.
In the pool I had growing up in my backyard. It was like 16 feet, like a circle. So my friends and I we'd take out the ladder because the ladder would tip. So you could, even when you were inside, it had because it was an above ground, so you'd have to like lift up the ladder and you could like put it outside.
Yeah.
And then everybody, especially when my brother got going, we could all run in a circle on the outside and get it really, really spinning. And then to the point where you could like hang on, and if you let go, it would like twist you, like it would keep spinning around.
Just float.
Yeah, but it was fun.
Yeah, that was fun. It makes me think of The Sims when everybody puts their Sims in a pool and they take out the bladder.
Yeah.
And I just thought this was cool. A large and dangerous whirlpool is called a maelstrom.
A maelstrom.
I mean, I've heard that word.
I have too, but I
didn't know it had a real, proper definition or whatever.
Yeah.
And they typically form near narrow straits as a result of tides. And the only reason I was interested was because that was the third largest whirlpool in the world. So I wanted to know what the first two were. Because my brain, ADHD, rabbit hole, or whatever. The number one whirlpool in the world is Saltstromen off the coast of Norway near the Arctic Circle. It forms 4 times a day as the tides go through a small channel only 490 feet wide. And currents reach up to 25 miles per hour or 41 kilometers per hour.
Oh my God, that would be scary.
That's faster than going through a playground zone. So ships don't pass through there at peak times. And actually the number 2 whirlpool is also located near Norway, off the coast of Norway, but it occurs there because the unusual shape of the ocean floor, which forms like this giant rock pinnacle of some sort, like maybe like a stalagmite or whatever. And the powerful tides kind of move around it to form the whirlpool. And that one can get up to 20 miles per hour or 32 kilometers per hour. And it's actually been used as a plot device by authors Jules Verne and Edgar Allan Poe.
Oh.
Right? People are talking about whirlpools. It's just not us.
Yeah.
And maybe that's because it's boring. I don't know. Let me know in the comments. And then the number 3 one, like I said, is Corey Vrecken. And for comparison, it can reach up to 11 miles per hour or 18 kilometers per hour. And it can have waves of up to 30 feet or 9 meters high.
Which, I mean, even though it's number 3, it's still scary. It'd so kill people.
Yeah, I liked how that one gave the height. And this one's actually apparently one of the loudest whirlpools because it can be heard up to 10 meters or 10 meters.
I was gonna say that's not very far.
I'm Canadian and I was trying to abbreviate miles.
Oh.
You told me not to abbreviate things.
Yeah, I can't
didn't listen.
Because I'll look at something and be like, what? If it's not a month, it doesn't get abbreviated. It's like as a rule.
No, 10 miles or 16 kilometers away.
Wow.
And it has also been known to pull objects down 860 feet or 262 meters. I wrote it out that time.
I want to know what a whirlpool sounds like.
It's funny you should say that.
Oh.
Well, because one more point on that one was the British Navy classifies it as very dangerous. That's the Corey Vrecken, the Scottish one. But finally, I learned one more fun fact was that there's one near New Brunswick, my home province, called Old Sow because it apparently sounds a bit like a pig. I've never even heard of it. I know we have the highest tides in the world in the Bay of Fundy area on, our coastline, but it's like, I didn't know we had a giant whirlpool or at least a medium-sized whirlpool that apparently sounds enough like a pig that they call it Old Sow.
That's so strange.
I don't know, when my mom gets to this episode or when I text her, have you heard of it, Mom? She's catching up, and now that we're off for a couple of weeks, she might get up to it. I think she's on Florida Man Crimes.
Oh wow, she's pretty good then.
Yeah, she was a little bit behind, but then she said she went on a little road trip. So
yeah, I know our #1 episode I checked on Anchor is the Japan episode by like a landslide.
I have been watching the race between that and our episode #1 for the last like week and a half. It's been like one of the only things giving me joy. I don't know. What do people like? Do you guys like the dark cases? Because you did a dark child murder case and I did Yakuza.
Yeah, something.
I don't know.
That's why you gotta review us so we know what you guys liked.
That's true. We love a good feedback. We love a good comment.
Otherwise, we're just chucking stuff at the wall, being like, I wonder if they'll like this.
I know. There might be websites that give us better information, but we'll get there.
Yeah.
Oh God. We love you guys. Okay. Okay, so there is a legend to go with this whirlpool, though. It's got a story, kind of like the cave did.
Is it the Kraken?
No. Release the Kraken.
Yeah.
Oh God, you're gonna make me want to watch Pirates of the Caribbean.
Always. I love Pirates of the Caribbean.
Somebody was talking about movie soundtracks and something I was listening to today, and then like, oh, when you know how you can go see that, you can go like listen to classical, like an orchestra play like Harry Potter or Star Wars, like an orchestra doing it. And I was like, that sounds amazing. And then she was like, I was humming along with Pirates of the Caribbean. And then I was like, yeah, exactly. Oh God. All right, guys, we need this vacation. You don't even know. I'm sorry. This one has a legend though that has a Norse prince and like a Norse king. So that's Norse royalty. Yeah, I think it was the king. So he moored his boat near the whirlpool. Like he docked it. He anchored it, whatever, to impress the father of a local princess who wanted him to anchor it by the whirlpool for 3 nights. Because remember, it's a dangerous whirlpool. You probably don't want to have your boat in for too long, or ship. And the prince, I think this Norse king wanted his prince to marry the princess. So they had 3 ropes made out of hemp and wool and one from maiden's hair, the purity of the hair rendering it apparently unbreakable.
Oh yeah. Well, hair is pretty strong.
That's true. Especially like the more you layer it. I hit my mic.
Yeah, because I remember watching something, it was similar to like How It's Made or something.
Oh, that's a fun show.
I loved that show. It's like, yes, I want to know how they make pencils. Show me it all.
Documentary, like rabbit holes. Yeah.
But they actually like took machinery and they tried to squish different objects that were supposed to be like the strongest in the world. And they were like measuring the like PSI or whatever. I think it's PSI, something like that. That it like
however they gauge it.
To like crush it. And it's actually like physically impossible to crush a hair. Like a human hair will always like create indents in the object that's trying to crush it. It cannot be crushed, if I remember correctly.
It's grimy,
but like you can't squish it
so easily.
Yeah, but you like can't squish it. Like they showed it. It was like this thing that was literally doing like all the force it could, and then they like took the hair out, and you could see the little like indents on each side that had been trying to squish the hair. So cool.
That's crazy. Yeah, it's probably you're probably right. It's probably like pressure per square inch or something.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
It was pretty cool.
I heard Bailey.
Oh, did you?
I don't know if my mic picked it up, but I just heard your cat purring. Yeah.
Hold on. Let me do this without me hitting the mic too much.
This is the content.
That was Bailey sniffing the mic. Like right up against it. Her little nose. She's laying against my leg right now, like holding on to my leg, and I'm petting her.
No, this is probably good for her because you probably haven't talked about it on the pod yet, but you have been with another cat recently.
Yeah, I took in a family member's cat, so I'm trying to introduce these two to each other, and Bailey's gotten very, very territorial.
Oh, so, I hear her. She's so sweet.
Yeah, it'll be slow. It'll be a slow process, but I'm hopeful.
Right. If people can introduce dogs and cats, like I know I have friends that had like 2 big dogs and then a cat, and they mostly just kind of ignored each other. And I was like, wow, that's still pretty cool.
Yeah, that's, I feel like, gonna be the goal. Is that they at least ignore each other.
I don't want the expectations, low to mid-range.
I don't want them to be afraid or trying to fight, because that's always bad when they're actually afraid of each other. But I don't care if they just fully ignore each other. That would be fun.
And they're like male and female, right?
Yeah, I think that's causing some problems too. And Gordo, the new cat, is like bigger. So Bailey weighs like 10 pounds. She's a bit overweight still, but she's older. So the vet and I aren't concerned about it.
No, she looks good. She's happy.
Yeah, because she already lost like almost 3 pounds from what she was weighing at the time.
Oh, but yeah, Gordo, she's definitely living a better life.
Gordo is a rag doll. So they can grow up to 22 pounds. The males can. And I don't know how much he weighs right now, but he's only 1.5 years, and it can take up to 3 years for them to reach like fully grown.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
It's like when you get a little puppy and people are like, with Fenrir, especially people are looking at the feet like he's gonna be big.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gordo is already big. But he's so adorable. I love them both. So I'm hoping it works out. If not, then somebody gets rehomed. But we'll figure that out at another time if it comes down to it. I'm hoping it doesn't.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, hopefully not. I don't think so.
Yeah.
Sorry. That was our kitty sidebar. We did say it was Castles and Cryptids and Cats, didn't we?
It's a cat pet podcast. No, there are mascots. We have to talk about them.
There's literally, podcasts that have cats featured in the name and theme and everything. Yeah. Hey, we mentioned in the first part, you never want to bring something up in the first act unless you're going to use it by the second. Okay, I'm so sorry. So back to our story with our 3 ropes. They are made from hemp and wool and very strong hair, apparently.
Yeah.
I mean, supposedly. We'll see. But they snapped one by one. The first night, the hemp rope went, which, now that I think about it, slightly unbelievable because hemp is very strong. But whatever, fairy tales. The second night, the wool rope went, and the third, the hair rope snapped. Then the boat was dragged under, and all but one man died, and he pulled the prince's body out. And then a maiden that had been aboard confessed that she had not been entirely pure in her actions, so it was her fault that the hair rope had snapped.
Should have been.
Yeah.
Should have invested in a chain.
Or just like, you're having to do these feats of daring for this one lady, and then you're relying on all this work and stuff from all these other people. It's like, why don't you just try and court her like a normal person? Go out on a date.
Ask her out instead of asking her father out. Out, I guess. I don't know.
I don't need you to kill a dragon for me. It's like that. I love the Robert Munch one, the Paper Bag Princess, where she kills the dragon for fucking Ronald or whatever the fuck his name is because he's just inept, and she's like, I don't need you anyway.
I remember that one. It was one of my favorites, but I cannot remember anything about it. But I remember it being one of my favorites when I was younger.
Yeah, he's just, yeah, she rescues herself, basically. So yeah, that was how that one ended. Everybody died, basically. Of course.
Everybody died.
And then another tale exists of the whirlpool. There was a nasty Irish pirate from Ulster who was sailing past a sea witch when she saw into his black heart. So she conjured this whirlpool to protect Scotland and drown him. I know, it's an origin story for the whirlpool.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. But then it just never went away.
I guess it's still protecting Scotland.
Yeah.
Pretty crazy. So there's another story called The Nine Maidens of Dundee. And it goes like this. A farmer who had 9 daughters lived with them on his farm known as Potemkin. And one busy day, the farmer sent his eldest daughter to the well for water. When she failed to return, he sent his second eldest, and so on and so on.
Oh, God.
Why? Why do they do it?
Why doesn't he go? You just had 2 daughters disappear.
At this point. Yeah, so what if it's a busy day? They could be all sleeping out there. You better go beat their ass. No. Finally, when all have gone to the well but never returned, the farmer decides to go investigate. And then, yeah, I even had in my notes like, oh yeah, never after the first one.
Yeah, or the second. It takes 9.
Also, where is your wife? She would talk you out of this. He found them all dead around the well, of course, and coiled around their lifeless limbs, was a great serpentine dragon. So he fled to the neighbors, who returned with weapons in an angry mob. Then the dragon attempted to escape, but a man named Martin caught up with it, and armed only with a wooden club, he slew the beast as the crowd looked on, shouting, "Strike, Martin! Strike, Martin!" So that it was called Strike Martin for a time thereafter, and then they called the place Strathmartine, which is still a street name in Dundee, the city. And there's actually a stone that stands alone in the field 1 mile north of the village called Bridgefoot on the fringes of Dundee. And in Dundee's High Street, they have a carved stone dragon to commemorate the legend. They love it. I like it. It always reminds me of something that Pat always says, or I used to say to people a lot. Be like, if they're doing something kind of silly, like, Martin, eh? Martin up.
Martin up.
It's kind of silly.
All I could think of was like Crocodile Dundee. Every time you said Dundee.
Spelled the exact same. Yeah.
Perfect.
Is that where that comes from then? I mean,
no, it's Crocodile Dundee. He's like Australian.
Yeah. But if Australia was a British penal colony, then things from Scotland and England could have come from there. Could have come to there. Whatever.
Maybe, I have no idea.
So that was that one, short and sweet. And then there's a short one called The Ghost Piper of Clanyard Bay.
Ooh,
Ghost Piper. Pat can play the bagpipes.
Really?
Yeah, he told me his dad was into it, so he learned.
That's pretty cool. My mom loves the bagpipes, like loves them.
It takes some lungs. I would not be able to. Not at all. So apparently long ago, a network of tunnels was said to have stretched from the Cove of Grenon to the cliffs of Clanyard Bay. Fairies lived in the tunnels and caves, apparently. I like to think so.
There's always fairies.
Oh yeah, especially here. So no one dared ever enter them, until one day a piper went where no man had gone before. The caves, the final frontier.
These are the voyages.
And my dad doesn't even listen, and he's my biggest Star Trek fan I know in our family. So he played his bagpipes as he went in with his loyal dog companion.
No, not the dog.
No word whether the dog was a Scottie or not.
Better be.
They're cute dogs. So some time passed after they had entered the cave until, without warning, the dog shot out of the cave at full speed, and he was frightened, howling, and completely hairless also.
What? Ugh.
Yeah. Scared shitless, scared hairless. No. The piper had vanished, and though the caves are now gone, people still hear the distant sound of bagpipes from deep underground.
That would be creepy.
Yeah.
I don't like that.
Even underground caves, creepy. Tunnels or whatever. Yeah. This one's cool. Robert the Bruce. Many may be familiar. He's pretty famous Scottish historical figure, warrior. And this is Robert the Bruce and the Spider. So he was born in 1274 at Lochmaben Castle, where he became knight and overlord of Annandale. And by 1306, he was crowned King of Scotland. So pretty fucking young.
Yeah.
And he attempted to free Scotland from the English. He was defeated that same year in battle by the Earl of Pembroke. After that, he went into hiding, and some speculate that it was in the Western Isles. But he lived in a cave for 3 months, planning his revenge and like basically licking his wounds, you could say.
Yeah.
Which, yeah, it definitely mirrors things that happen in Outlander. Spoiler for you.
No spoilers allowed.
No! That's all I'm going to say. But yeah, he lived in a cave. He was struggling to survive. He went through many bouts of despair and thoughts of leaving forever. He was going to leave Scotland. But while he was biding his time in the cave, he observed a spider spinning a web in the mouth of the cave. Quote, the typically stormy Scottish weather, not one to disappoint, made the spider's task difficult as droplet after droplet destroyed the creature's intricate work. Finally, against all odds, the spider succeeded with his web. Robert the Bruce was inspired by the spider's efforts, so decided to get up and face another fight. He is said to have told his men, if at first you don't succeed, try, and try again, which is a phrase still used to this day.
Oh, geez.
Quote.
That's pretty cool.
I had no idea.
Yeah, very, very famous phrase.
Right? So apparently someone who was a great preserver of the Scottish folktales was someone called Alexander Carmichael. And his most notable work is probably the Carmina Gadelica. Again, probably mispronouncing. And all of his papers are now kept safely in the University of Edinburgh Library. Edinburgh. Yeah. Carmichael started collecting oral, quote, histories, legends, music, and folk beliefs in 1860 and continued for half a century. And he's been compared to the Grimm brothers.
Ooh.
Kind of cool. Yeah.
I think it was at Chapters one time they had like the original Grimm like complete collection of fairy tales, and I was like, I want to buy this, but it was like really expensive or something.
Yeah, it was really big.
Yeah. Big and expensive. And I was like,
yeah, it's nice when you're like growing up and your mom has a big book like that and you could just flip through it, but then you're like, I don't want to buy one.
Yeah.
Ugh. But yeah, that was pretty cool. And did you come across anything in your research about the Gorbals vampire?
No, but it sounds familiar for some reason.
Yeah, it's kind of a folk tale, maybe more of like an urban legend. It was apparently involving a cemetery called the Necropolis and a bunch of missing children in the 1950s in Scotland. And I don't know if it was the media or whatever, but the children apparently in Gorbals blamed it on a 7-foot vampire with iron teeth.
Ugh.
I don't know. Are they making up stories? Does it have iron teeth? That's pretty crazy. But other than that incident, it's like, what? Oh yeah. Then there was like panic and stuff, and then the kids swarmed the necropolis, which is just a creepy name for a cemetery to begin with.
Yeah, it's terrible.
And this was in 1954. They wanted to fight back against the supposed vampire, but then I guess a local teacher talked them down, calmed them down. I don't know. Honestly, I didn't find a lot of information about this, if you couldn't tell, but the blame could possibly be placed on another, or maybe originated from another legend of a ghost that haunts Glasgow Green, Jenny with the iron teeth. Glasgow.
Jenny with the iron teeth. Becky with the hair. Jenny with the iron teeth.
That's what I thought of, Jenny with the good hair. Also, I read a good fantasy series where they had witches that had iron teeth. And also like high fae and stuff. Really good. I like it. It's the Throne of Glass series. Yeah. I only have 2 left. 2 folk tales. One is called Whoopity Stoorie, and it might sound a little familiar to one we know already. So in the Borderlands village, these ones I just copy pasted, by the way. Credit to the where did I get them? The fucking folklorescotland.com. Don't know why I couldn't remember that name. So complicated.
Perfect.
Yeah. So in the Borderlands village of Kittlerumpet, there was a good wife whose husband... Sorry.
I know. What a great name. I one day want to live in a place called Kittlerumpet. And have legal documents that say I am from Kittlerumpet.
They have the best names. And
it's a great name.
Some of the Scots, which is kind of like, I don't want to say slang, but it's more of a dialect. So it kind of sounds like slang, like they call like kids bairns and stuff like that. And it's just like, some of it is so cute to hear. So one day her husband went to the fair, never returned, went out for a pack of cigarettes. But yeah, he was a faithless sort of man and not to be depended on. And all the village pitied the good wife's plight, but none helped her. She had not left but her house, her prize sow, and her baby boy. Her one hope was that the sow would soon give birth to piglets, and if all went well, her stock would be much increased. But it was not to be, it seemed, for one morning when she went to the pigsty, she found the sow lying on her back, groaning and grunting like she was at death's door. This was a sore blow to the good wife's heart, and she sat down on the knocking stone and cried harder than she ever had over the loss of her husband. Woof.
Because of a pig?
Sorry.
Sure.
Well, maybe the pig brought in her a lot more joy than the husband.
The pig's the final straw.
Okay, my favorite animals go seals, pigs, I don't know, something else, but there first 2 are pigs.
I don't know, something else.
A third thing. What does he say in Free Guy? They haven't programmed the rest of his character.
Oh,
third thing, TBD.
Yeah, something like that. Catchphrase.
Yeah,
that was my favorite.
Catchphrase. So good.
Yeah.
Then, as she sat wiping her eyes, she chanced to look down the brae. And what did she see but a little old woman Sorry, I didn't write it. Old woman making her way up the hill towards the house. She was dressed all in green, save for the short white apron tied about her waist, a black velvet hood, and a steeple-crowned beaver hat on her head.
Okay.
what that means. She walked with a long walking stick as tall as she was to help her on her way. Seeing the gentlewoman draw near, the goodwife rose and made a curtsy. Weeping, she said, "Madam, I'm the most unfortunate woman alive." "I did not wish to hear piper's news and fiddler's tales," said the green woman. "I ken you've lost your good man, and I ken that your sow's sick. Now, what will you give me to cure her?" "Anything your ladyship, madam's like," said the goodwife, unaware of with whom she dealt. "Let's wet thumbs on the bargain," said the green woman.
Wet thumbs.
And so thumbs were wet, and the green woman marched into the pigsty. Maybe it's like a pinky swear.
Yeah, they just took a blood oath. They like cut their thumbs.
Oh, I assumed they like spit on them or whatever. Like,
yeah, something. I don't know.
Oh,
gross either way.
I know, but there's a funny part where I liked why I picked it. Listen, she glowered at the sow for some time, then began to chant so as the goodwife could barely hear. Pitter patter, hally watter. Sorry, it reminds me of Letterkenny.
Letterkenny.
Pitter patter, let's get at her.
Yeah. It's great.
Then from her pocket, she drew a small bottle with something oily inside it and daubed the liquid around the sow's snout, behind her ears, and on the tip of her tail. "Get up, beast," said the green woman, and no sooner than she'd said it, the sow leapt to her feet, and quite the thing was away to her breakfast trough. Sorry. Words. Trough. I don't know. I hope those words that end in O-U-G-H.
Yeah.
English is stupid. So the goodwife of Kittlerumpet was overcome with joy and would have kissed the hem of the green woman's dress had she let her. "I'm not fond of demonstrations," said the green woman. "Know that I have righted your sick beast. Let's finish our bargain. You'll not find me unreasonable greedy body. I like to do a good turn for a small reward. All I ask and will have is that lad bairn in your bosom." The goodwife let out a gasp, for now she saw what she hadn't before. The green woman was a fairy. Falling to her knees, she wept and prayed and begged and flighted, but the fairy would not relent. "You may spare your din," she said, skirling as if I was deaf as a doornail, "but this I'll tell you. By the law we live on, I cannot take your bairn till the third day after this, and not then if you can tell me my right name." And off she went, away around the pigsty and back down the brae, leaving the goodwife to her misery.
Oh.
For a night and a day, the goodwife could do naught but cry and hold her baby to her chest. On the second day, at a loss for what to do, she went walking into the woods, baby in her arms. She walked deep into the forest to where an old quarry lay, grown over with gorse and home to a spring well. As she approached, she caught the sound of a lint wheel turning and a soft voice singing. The goodwife crept closer and peered through the bushes into the quarry below. There was the green fairy working at her wheel and singing, "Little kens our good dame at hame, that whoopity stoorie is my name." And then the goodwife's heart.
Whoopity story.
I would have probably pronounced it, story, but it's spelled Stoorie. So I'm sure with the Scottish accent, it's much closer to story.
Yeah.
But yeah, doesn't it kind of remind you of like another folktale?
Rumpelstiltskin?
Yeah, me too. Yeah. So she figures that out. She had the magic word. She walked home with a spring in her step, gleeful at the thought of tricking the old fairy. Feeling much like her old self again, the goodwife thought to have some sport with the fairy. On the third day, at the appointed time, she put her baby behind the knocking stone, then sat down on it herself, nightcap askew, a look of great woe on her face. Before long, the green fairy appeared over the hill and called out, "Goodwife of Kittlerumpet."
Crumpet. Oh,
crumpet. I can't even say it. "You can wheel what I came for. Stand and deliver." The goodwife pretended to weep even harder than before and fell to her knees, crying, "Oh, sweet madam mistress, spare my only bairn and take the weary so it's written in very Scots.
Yeah.
I don't have a good Scottish accent, I'm sorry. I come not here for swine's flesh, said the fairy. Dinna be stubborn, but give me the bairn instantly. Och on, dear laddie mine, wept the good wife, forbear my poor bairn and take myself. The fairy's expression soured. She's clean, demented. Oh, I don't remember reading that word before. Demented. Demented. Oh, because sometimes like I like it when they say like, oh, you're crank it. It's to the cranky.
Oh.
Yeah. What in all the earthly world, with half an e in their heads, would ever want with the likes of thee? This raised the good wife's hackles, for though her eyes were wet and her nose red from crying, she considered herself quite comely. Up she leapt and set her nightcap straight, and making a low curtsy. In truth, fair madam, she said, I might have had the wit to ken that the likes of me is nae fair to tie the worst shoestrings of the high and mighty princess Whoopity Stoorie. At that, Whoopity Stoorie nearly jumped out of her skin, then turning on her heel, she ran down the hill, screeching her rage for all of Kittlerumpet to hear. The good wife of Kittlerumpet laughed until her sides ached, then picked up her baby and went into her house, singing all the way. A goo and a giddy, my bonny wee tyke, he's no hay your foories. I'm sorry. Sin, we've given Nick a bane to pike with his wheels and his whoopity stories. The end.
Jeez.
All right. And then I promised you Michael Scott. And that's the last.
Michael Scott.
And ironically, it's called Michael Scott and the White Snake, which White Snake, you know, was a band.
Yeah.
I don't know. So before Michael Scott became the legendary Borders wizard who cleaved the Eildon Hill into three, he was just an ordinary young man who enjoyed walking the old tracks through forests and over hills. One day he was making the long journey to Edinburgh with two of his friends, and just as they crested a hill, they heard a loud hiss coming from behind them. As they turned, they could see a great white serpent snaking up towards them, clearly ready to attack. Michael's friends were terrified and ran at the sight, but he was made of sterner stuff and raised his wooden staff ready. That's what she said. Just as the serpent sprang forward, Michael struck down twice with the staff. Michael's friends were more than relieved to find out their attacker was left in pieces on the hill, and they marched on towards their destination. Before long, it was starting to get dark, and the friends spotted a cottage where they hoped they could rest for the night. An old lady answered the door, agreeing to let them stay for a small fee, and so it was that before long, the travelers were retelling their encounter from earlier. You have some strange wildlife around these parts. I've never seen a pure white snake like that before, said Michael. The old lady looked shocked. And what has happened to this white snake you speak of? Well, I left it lying on the hill where I split it into three with my staff, boasted Michael. This is no ordinary beast, my son. The local people thought it had been defeated once before, after it was sliced in two. But if the head crawls to the nearest stream, then it will make itself whole again and hunt you down relentlessly until it's had its revenge. You must retrieve the middle section and bring it back to me here. It is the only way to stop it. Michael's friends wanted nothing to do with it and turned in for the night, so he put on his cloak and headed out into the cold darkness alone. He trekked back a few miles and eventually made it to the hill where they had faced the snake, and true enough, the head had disappeared. He picked up the middle of the snake and ran as fast as he could back to the warmth of the old lady's cottage. She was standing at the door waiting and exclaimed, "You have it, you have it," as Michael arrived inside, panting with exhaustion. He was a little confused when she took the serpent's body and dropped it into a pot she had prepared over the fireplace. "Why would you cook such a thing?" asked Michael. "It's the only way to destroy it," she replied. "And besides, I'm a poor widow and can't turn down the chance of a meal, any meal."
Ew. Ugh. I'm not one of those people. I don't think I would ever want to eat snake.
I've tried alligator. It was all right. But yeah, I think it's different. Michael was shivering with cold after his midnight mission and settled in a chair by the fire. The old lady inquired, "Would you not prefer a comfortable bed instead of that old chair?" "I'll take a while to warm up yet, and I don't feel sleep coming on while I'm shivering away. Don't worry, I'll watch the pot and make sure it doesn't boil over." As the woman went off to her bed, she turned and warned Michael, "Just let me know when you think the meal is cooked, but leave the pot well alone." As he sat stretching his limbs and feeling the warmth creep back into them, the smell of the meat cooking made Michael's stomach growl. He could hear a light snoring coming from behind their host's door, and he decided that he would just dip his finger into the juices to see if it tasted as delicious as it smelled. As soon as the liquid touched his lips, Michael gasped loudly and dropped the lid of the pot on the floor. Suddenly, he could feel power he had never thought existed running through him. Knowledge of everything that ever had been and ever would be was at his fingertips. Simply by wishing it, his hunger had gone and his tired legs were recovered.
Jeez.
The old woman ran through, and as soon as she saw the wonder in Michael's eyes, she knew what had happened. "You have tasted the serpent and gained its power," she sighed. "Do I not deserve it? Was it not I who killed the beast?" asked Michael. She conceded it was his prize after all, but asked him not to forget that he would not have his powers were it not for her help. Michael became famous around Europe as a renowned wizard, but he would always remember his host from that night. She would never want for anything again, all thanks to the powers of Michael Scott.
Perfect ending.
Yeah, whereas a lot of, well, maybe not folklore, but I've been listening to things about like different fairy tales, and they often have like those horrible endings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very good.
All right, we'll take a quick break before your segment. Woo!
Yeah.
I'm excited.
Before I start, I have a couple pictures for you in the drive because I feel like the cryptids are always fun when you have a picture.
That's very true.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, there we go. Let me go into the folder. I learned a lesson.
How many times? I did some, I guess like cryptids, creatures. I don't know.
Yeah, they have a lot of, I know it's weird. Sometimes they seem like almost older than we've been using the term cryptids, especially some of these folklore creatures, especially in like Celtic lore. It's old as fuck.
Yeah.
I love it.
Apologize in advance for any of these pronunciations. This is what Google said. I
didn't even look up anything, so my bad.
Yeah. This one's called, I believe it's pronounced the catchy. Yeah.
Like banshee.
Yes. Basically.
Yeah, because it's definitely not spelled like it sounds with banshee.
No,
either.
It looks exactly like Sif.
Yes, that's why I said it's the one that says cat, Sif.
Yeah. No, it says it's catchy. She be cat.
No, but it's like you stumbled on some Star Wars stuff. Like what?
Yeah. So the catchy is a creature that resembles a large black cat that's supposed to be as big as a dog.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Dogs be big.
I mean, when it gets to the weight and describes that, I don't think it's that impressive because Gordo, my new cat, already weighs more than this cat is supposed to. So.
Oh, really? So like a small dog.
Yeah. So it's all black. It has a white spot on its chest that a lot of times like people put as like a diamond kind of shape.
Oh yeah, like a tux. Like
yeah,
we've all known someone who has had a black cat named Tux. At least I do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So legend says that it's a spectral wild cat that haunts the Scottish Highlands. And the name is possibly derived from the Gaelic words. This says Kate, Cait, that means cat. And then she, or SITH, which is their term for fairies. So it's like a cat fairy.
Just stick she on the end of anything. It makes it's a fairy version.
Yeah. So
that's cool.
In picture 2 you can go to, it's just a picture like the actual, I guess, what they're imagining this cryptid or creature is. And people believe that the legends may have originated from a distinctive breed of cats that were called Kellas, and they're very large and black, and they're a hybrid between Scottish wild cats and domestic cats, and they can grow to about 15 pounds.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's like a picture.
A Garfield. Like not like what about like, because in North America we have things like bobcats and even those kind of small wildcats. I'm sure they're heavier.
Like Gordo right now weighs at least 17 pounds, but fully grown he can get up to 22 pounds, and he wouldn't be overweight at 22 pounds.
Right.
So
like big cat breed. Yeah, but like big domesticated. Yeah. Interesting. Well, there's not that many big predators in Scotland, I guess.
Yeah, true. So people from the Scottish Highlands don't trust this creature, partly because they think it's a fairy, and they believe that it could steal a person's soul before it was able to be claimed by the gods.
Oh no.
Yeah. And
that's not good.
They believe that the cat, she did this by passing over a corpse before it could be buried. So they'd like walk over it.
Oh, hell yeah. I mean, I've heard of things like they basically just open the doors when someone dies because they want to make sure that soul can get out with nothing in its way.
Yeah.
Like not a door, not anything. So like that sounds particularly bad if it's like a black cat that's all of a sudden stopping it from doing that. No offense, love black cats. My friend Caitlin listens. I love her cat Sabrina. She's adorable.
Perfect.
Yes. I don't want to be called out for slandering black cats.
Nope.
Black cats matter.
They're all cute.
Yes.
So to stop the cat she from like stealing somebody's soul or from this from happening, there's a ritual called, and I tried to look this up and I could not get it, feel fidelic, and that means late wake. And this ritual is performed continually all night and day until the burial. And so even if it's like days later, they'll perform it all day. There's somebody. So they also used methods of distraction, which this just sounds like you're trying to play with the cat. Methods of distraction like leaping, wrestling, catnip, and then riddles and music were used to keep the cat away. And
I've heard of like singing, like when someone's died. I didn't know if it was like to keep something away. That's interesting.
So they also choose not to light any fires in the house, as the warmth is said to draw the cat she near, because it would seek out the warm fire. So they basically
do that.
They basically just lock the body in a room in the house for like days until it's buried, which is kind of sad.
See, okay, but after, like I said, I've heard they have to open the door at the very first part because they believe they have to let the soul get out. So probably after that they're like, it's gone. Okay, we're good.
Yeah.
But the superstitions apparently don't stop there.
Yeah.
Crazy.
I also ran across that on Samhain, the cat she would bless houses that left out a saucer of milk, and then houses that did not, it said that they would curse them, and that they would be cursed that all of their cows' udders would go dry.
Oh, burn.
Dun, dun, dun.
Not cool. Be messing with my cheese, bitch.
Yeah.
All my milk products.
Yeah, I couldn't survive.
I know. Hearts go out to you, lactose intolerant of us. You're strong.
Yeah.
Oh.
So there's a demonic catchy that's actually called Big Ears.
Big ears?
No, ears.
Oh, sorry.
Big ears.
You tell what I've got on the brain. Big beers? Okay. That makes sense.
Big ears could be summoned and they would grant any wish to those who performed a specific like summoning ceremony, I guess. And this is like a gross part. The ceremony required people to burn the bodies of cats over the course of 4 days and nights.
Ooh,
yeah,
that's rough.
I didn't like that.
I took a hard left turn.
Yeah. Like, why big ears? Why? I guess because it's a demonic catchy.
Before all that, it was all innocent ways to keep it out. It was like, okay, you had to keep fires lit and open or close a few doors or whatever.
Yeah. So some people believe that the catchy is a witch who could transform into a cat and then back to a human. And they would be able to do this transformation from a cat back to a human just 9 times. Yeah. And
what?
if a witch chose to stay as a cat and not do their 9th transformation back to a human, they would remain as a cat forever. And some people believe that this is the origin of the idea of cats having 9 lives.
Weird and so cool.
Yeah, I thought it was really cool.
Yeah. Kind of reminds me of Sabrina the Teenage Witch, the one I watched growing up, because they did have a cat named Salem that was a black cat who was a magician that got trapped in cat form somehow or another. I don't know.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's really interesting. I like that angle.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah. Hadn't heard it.
The next one, I only have one picture for. So you can just go to the third one. It's a buff-looking horse.
I was gonna say, sexy horseman. What is the one that Will Arnett's in now? It's like
BoJack
Horseman.
I actually really like that show.
I love Will Arnett, so I'm like, I know if I start that, I will like it. I just haven't.
I think I binge watched like all 5 or 6 seasons, whatever it has, in like the span of like 2 weeks.
I listen to his podcast any chance I can get with Jason Bateman and Sean Hayes. It's a good celebrity guest. There you go, guys. There's your free ad. Not that you need it. Smartless.
I also watched that Murderville, that like improv one with Will Arnett. Yeah, so there's like,
I know this. Wait.
So it's a new Netflix original, and basically it's Will Arnett. He's being like some hotshot detective.
Oh, it looks so funny.
It is.
They have the guests. Oops, I just like hit my laptop. They have the guests, but they don't know they're like on it. Yeah, they're like the guests are improving basically.
Yeah, what happens is everybody else was given a script. They know what's going on. They know what their lines are supposed to be, except for the guest. The guest literally just walks on set. I'm pretty sure they probably get told like a brief overview of like,
oh, for sure,
and stuff, because they aren't questioning when like people go on rants about like getting divorced and stuff. They're just kind of like, ooh,
no.
But it's the second episode, I can't remember the guy's name. He was just all in. He was 100% committed. He had so much fun, and I was almost crying. I was laughing so hard in his. Like,
I think Annie Murphy from Schitt's Creek goes on it. I don't know. It looked funny. I saw some commercials.
Hers was pretty good because she literally broke like every like few minutes, and then Ken Jeong from like Community and like
The Masked Singer. No.
Yeah. And
yes. Hangover.
Hangover.
Yeah.
He's the last. Yeah, he's the last guest,
So
and he literally cannot stop breaking. He starts laughing like every few seconds and is like, what? Like he just can't handle it, which makes it so funny.
I love those kind of shows. And there's another one about comedians making each other laugh, Canadian comedians, that's coming out on Prime. Not to talk too much about it'd be like free ads, but
yeah,
get some good comedians from like Whose Line Is It Anyway and
oh
stuff.
my god, I would love that.
Yeah, and they have to try and make each other laugh, and I'm like, god damn it, I want to watch that. I think it comes out this weekend. Ugh.
Anyway. So according to what I could come up with on the internet, this buff-looking horsefish thing is called the Yakusha, or sorry, Yakushka.
Yeah. Sounds right to me.
Yakushka. Which just means water horse. And it's a water spirit in Scottish folklore and usually appears in the form of a horse and is found in the Highlands. And they live in seas, sea lochs, and freshwater lochs. And they're shapeshifters who can appear as a horse, a pony, a handsome man, or even an enormous bird that's called a booberry.
Or booberry.
Yeah.
I just don't know what's with all the shape-shifting and the horsiness with their cryptids and creatures. But I love it. It's great.
Yeah, we'll get to the booberry later. It's got its own thing going.
Oh yeah.
Hold on. I have to like Yakushka. I'm never gonna remember this. Hold on.
That sounds like a Russian. I thought you just said babushka, which sounds like a Russian grandmother. Sorry.
Considering it looks not at all like it's pronounced.
Oh yeah, no. We're sorry, Gaelic or whatever.
Yeah.
It's rough. It's tough.
Yeah, because it's literally spelled each and then usage, basically.
Oh my gosh.
And it's Yagushka. Yagushka.
It's right. I don't even try. I make up when I read Outlander and there's Gaelic, I just like make up my own pronunciation. I'm like, I had heard Gaelic before reading that and watching the show, and I'd be like, wow, there's a lot of going on there. You know, it's like German or something where you almost have to change the whole way you speak, and like,
yeah,
I don't know. You feel like once you're doing it right, you're just spitting a lot. No, but it's beautiful. It is beautiful. I don't get me wrong. I really do think it is.
So for the Yakushka,
Yakuza.
The Yakuza.
I kept thinking of that every time you said it. I'm so sorry. I had to get it out there once. Okay.
So it's said that if a man gets on the Yakushka's back, I guess, well, it's in a horse form, the rider will stay safe as long as them and the horse do not see or even smell water.
Oh my god.
Yeah. And
how do you know if they're going to be in smelling range of water?
Right? I can smell water. If it smells water, yeah, if it smells water, it's really bad. The Yagusha, if it smells water, their skin becomes adhesive, and the creature immediately, like, full on runs towards the water and carries the now stuck, like, rider on their back into the water and takes them into the deepest part where they drown the rider. And once the rider is drowned, the Yakushka like tears them apart and then eats everything in the body except for the liver, which is then said to and then the
Were
liver...
you saving it for Hannibal Lecter or
I don't know,
someone from X-Files? I think there was Eugene Toombs. Never mind.
So the liver floats
cut
back to the surface of the water.
Sorry.
And while it's appearing as a man, it can only be like, you can only tell that it's a Yakushka by like water weeds in its hair or even sand and mud. Otherwise it looks just like a real boy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Difficult to spot.
Yeah. That's why I assume this buff horsey picture came from. I don't know. The rest of the pictures aren't great. It basically just looks like a horse with like an alligator head. And I was like, at least this. I was like,
yeah. And I don't know, just anytime I seem to come across any Scottish lore other than Loch Ness, which we have covered for classic cryptids. I'm glad I did that when I did sort of lake monsters. But other than that, they seem to have a lot of horsey cryptids. I don't know if I said that already. I just think it's crazy and cool.
So because you can't tell it apart unless like you look at its hair when it's showing up as a man, people are often wary of people or animals that are alone standing near like water where it's said that a Yakushka lives. And it's believed, where it's believed to live. And they're also known to quite commonly kill like cattle and sheep.
Oh, not good.
Yeah.
Now you're messing with the food and the cattle and the livelihood and the livestock. That's not good.
So Scottish folklorist a Jaw Gregerson Campbell has recorded many tales of the Yahushka. And in one of the tales, in one, a man who was about to be carried into water by the Yakushka managed to get free by placing his feet, this is like terrible, on either side of a narrow gateway that him and like the horse, quote unquote, like were passing through, and he like pulled himself free, like using its momentum. So he basically just like put his arms and legs out as it was passing through, like imagine like a doorway, and just like ripped himself off of it.
Oh, he would probably like pull a groin muscle or something.
Yeah.
Sounds a little risky. It's like when you're you're like jumping out of a moving car or something.
Yeah.
You're like, okay, I'm gonna take a little bit of a beating here.
Yeah. So the boy, there's also a like tale of a boy who got only his finger stuck. I guess he poked it. And then it became adhesive, so his finger got stuck. And he actually cut his finger off in order to be free.
The whole finger?
Yeah.
Or was it just like adhesive, like it's so cold that you be like you licked your finger, and it'd be like if you stuck your wet tongue to something and you just had to rip off a layer. Like I can't believe you had to cut off his whole finger.
Yeah. I don't know.
Good Lord.
Yeah.
Those tales are always so dark.
Yeah. There's also a Highlander who was a freebooter. Do you know what that is? It's trusted.
Freebooter.
Yeah, freebooter.
I think so.
So it's a thief.
Oh.
I was like, it took me a while of Googling it to find that.
Because I was like, yeah, you hear people maybe say like freeloader or something nowadays. Yeah. Interesting that it's like with the booter. No, I feel like I don't think I've heard it, surprisingly enough.
So it's reported that this thief ran into the Yakushka while it was in human form, and they ended up shooting it twice, but nothing happened. And then he loaded his gun with, it said, with a coin made of silver.
Okay.
Silver so dollar. Yeah, it must be a pretty small coin to fit inside a barrel of a gun.
Okay, yeah. Silver sixpence.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
He then shot at it again, and this caused the quote-unquote man to run away and in like fear, and then got back into the water. So apparently they're afraid of silver.
Right. Like it could possibly actually harm them.
Yeah.
Like a silver bullet type of dealio. Although I wonder how effective just a coin was if they didn't melt it down. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ow.
Yeah. Ooh, it'd be terrible. And it's also said that the Yakushka are really unpredictable, and that they do actually go on land looking specifically for prey. So that's how they get to the livestock and lure these people to get onto their back. And it said that they'll sometimes even go as far as to like go onto a farm as a horse, like in their
horsey form.
Yeah. And they actually start doing tasks for the farmers until like the farmer gets on the horse's quote unquote back. And then and then its skin turns adhesive and it runs them into the water and kills them.
Jeez, that one's a long con, because you're like,
yeah, right.
I don't know.
I guess manual
where did this horse come from? It loves me. Yeah.
It's doing manual labor.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what they do. Some of those friggin' creatures lure you into a false sense of security. Damn.
It's also said that they may even turn on their own kind if a previous human rider's scent is like strong enough on them that they will then like attack and kill their own kind. Yeah.
Shit.
I believe
no one's safe.
No one's safe. They're not even safe from themselves.
Yeah.
I think this is more when they're in the like male form, which is where we got this like abbed up horse drawing.
This gym bro of a horse.
Yeah.
This, what is it?
Like
a stallion. Yeah. Italian stallion. No, I don't know.
Yeah. So they are known for their attempts to court women in order to procreate, or even simply just, again, to trick them into the water where they can kill them. But it's said that they'll like fully like court these women over a period of time, which is like crazy.
Damn. Especially if they got horse-like bodies in total. Where they're like, oh, come on, lady. It's all good. What happened to all my last girlfriends? It doesn't matter.
They're drowned in the lake.
Red flag.
So the next one is the boobry.
Ooh.
We can talk about. Yeah. Okay. That was like the best picture I could really find of it.
Well, I've heard of the booby, which is a type of bird.
Yeah, this is the boobry. Yeah. So the boobry is a mythological shape-shifting entity. So this like goes back to people believing that this could be the catchy, like appearing in another form.
Okay.
Yeah.
Symbolic. I mean, they wouldn't want to come to you in their natural form, especially if it's quite disturbing.
Sorry, not the catchy, the one we were just talking about, the Ayushka. This is like another form that they think it can take because it's a shapeshifter.
Right. Well, a few of them seem to have some of the same abilities, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this one lives in the lochs of the west coast of Scotland and commonly takes the appearance of a huge water bird that's similar to like a cormorant or great northern diver.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I think they are pretty freaking big.
Yeah. It can also take the form of other mythological creatures like a water bull.
Oh.
Yeah, so just become like, it could be a huge bird or it can be a bull.
All right then. A water bull. Okay.
Yeah.
Not familiar with that.
So they're generally malevolent and so not good. They prey on livestock transported by ship often. So they like swoop in. And this is sad because they're fond of eating specifically like otters, apparently. And apparently when they choose to eat otters, they eat a lot of them. Leave the otters alone. They're so cool. They're so cute.
Well, they're cute, but aren't they kind of like dolphins? They're cute, but a little rapey. So
I don't know.
Maybe that's why they were targeted. Anyway, we're not here to get into the politics of otters today.
I just like watching the videos of them floating around on their backs.
I know, and they hold their little hands, but
yeah.
I also heard that they will have sex with each other, and sometimes the other one will go under the water a little too long, and they are just so caught up in their excitedness that they don't really notice the other one's not responding anymore.
Oh,
disturbing, isn't it?
That's not good. Yeah.
No, I'm sorry. I had to do that. I had to otter out the otters.
Yeah, she just canceled otters. Damn.
Fucking it's like the dolphins, man. You learn things. It's like you grow up looking at these heroes and then you learn they're not what you thought they were.
Yeah.
Seals are still good. They were always my favorite. I told you that. They have not hurt anybody. I'm sorry.
So other than otters, they also eat calves, sheep, and lamb.
Okay. And wow.
All the babies. Yeah. And similarly, it drags them into the water to drown them before eating them.
Oh.
And because the booberry is a shapeshifter, it said that when it's appearing as a water horse or the yakushka, it can gallop across water as if it was like running across land.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's pretty handy. The Jesus Christ of horses.
The booberry. So
during the webbed feet would probably help. Yeah.
So during the summer, like August and September, it often chooses to appear as a large insect. I didn't like this, with lots of tentacles or feelers, and it sucks the blood of horses. It's like the worst mental image I can imagine.
Yeah, especially giant. You see them dealing with horse flies and stuff all the time. All the insects they already have to deal with seem giant compared
just
to
like a flying insect with like freaking tentacles and feelers, and it's just leeching blood out of horses. No.
Yeah, no amount of their little shivers they can do with their skin is gonna take power off. Poor guys.
Yeah, swat you with my tail. Like So the origin of the booberry may come from the sightings of the great auk.
I feel like I've heard of them.
Yeah, I think that's the next picture. Is a picture of the great auk. Yeah. It's like a sketch of one. And yeah, the great auk.
Oh wow. Kind of
just
like
because
a penguin there. Sorry.
Yeah, it really does when you look them up. But they're quite big. And apparently the booberry kind of makes like bellowing sounds. It can be really loud. Oh. So they're believed that might originate from the like sounds made by the common, is it the bittern?
I think
I had never heard of it before. I tried.
Yeah, bittern. That sounds correct.
Yeah.
I think I've heard of it.
I've
never said it out loud.
Yeah.
One of those.
It said like its bellowing sound was similar to the common bittern. So I tried looking up the like sounds of the common bittern, and honestly, no matter how loud I turned up the volume, I could barely hear a sound out of them. And the videos were labeled like listened.
Whereas you get something like the Canadian loon, and they literally use it on like so many movies or shows and stuff, just when they're supposed to be out in the middle of wilderness and they want to show, like, you picture like a lake and then you hear it like the or like, I can't do it, that doesn't sound right, but a loon sound, they have a very distinct bird sound, and I'm pretty sure mostly native to Canada, but yet that seems to be one thing that movies borrows from us, even though every other thing they do is like filmed in Vancouver but set somewhere else.
Yeah, everywhere.
Yeah, I read this article the other day that was like Vancouver never plays itself. And sorry, I didn't have any. I didn't have any fun facts. What?
So savage.
Well,
Vancouver never plays itself.
I know, they were kind of mad. I took it. It's like, just tweak it. Now it's Eastern Europe, and now we're in Boston. You know what I mean? It's like, I think they said like in like 10 minutes or 15 minutes in one movie, Vancouver played like 3 different countries in like Mission Impossible or something. I was like, I can see it. Like, you just have to show a road. Like, a lot of places will try and pass for like New York or Chicago or whatever, a big city. Yeah. It's like
filming budgets. So the next part I have about the boobery is basically all of this was actually just taken off Wikipedia. I was very lazy. Everything is from Wikipedia. Wikipedia was my only source for my entire segment.
It's fine. It has sources should you choose to follow them. Sometimes I do, because I'll go to there for like a timeline or kind of a clarification. It's almost like you have a sounding board, and this is like the clarification. It's the consensus that the public comes to.
So this is all literally just quoted. It's supposed to be a detailed account of the size of the boobery, and this was made by that same folklorist Campbell. And he says that he got this from an authoritative source. I have no idea what that means.
But he's like, it sounds good, doesn't it?
Yeah, they're authoritative. And they claim that the boobery is, quote, larger than 17 of the biggest eagles put together.
Wow.
And it has a strong black beak, about 11 inches wide and 17 inches in length. So really long.
Holy
The
crap.
final 5 inches of which taper to like that of an eagle. So I assume like a point. And the creature's neck is almost 3 feet long with a girth of a little under 2 feet. So just like thick neck. Yeah.
Thick. She thick.
Yeah. It has short, black, powerful legs that lead to webbed feet with gigantic claws. An imprint of a boobery's foot left in some lakeside mud equaled the span of a large, wide-spreading pair of red deer's horns.
Wow, that sounds big.
I'm like,
the width of a horn?
A pair of horns. So a wide spreading pair of horns.
Right,
so
like I
like
believe
2 feet?
Why
like
do you hunters would have a term for it, like rack size or something.
I'm
that
like,
sounds
why
less like
everything else
size.
is in measurements? Why can't you just say it's like 2 feet long?
Right. Yeah.
You have to say a red deer's horn spread. It bellows
we
noisily.
Literally have a city named Red Deer here. Doesn't it have?
Yeah, we do.
But yeah, that's it. I think they're whatever. There's different sizes of deer. I don't know if they're big or small.
Like, I have no idea.
Right. We don't hunt. Can you tell?
Yeah.
Although there's a picture of me with a deer hanging up when I was a small child, but that's because someone else hunted it. I was just looking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's said that it bellows noisily with displeasure, sounding more like a bull than a bird.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And the design of its wings is more conductive to swimming rather than for flight, which I find strange. And it's evil. Yeah, like since it flies around so much.
Yeah, and like there's waterfowl and whatever, but like they usually just skim on the top. And like it sounds like they're like saying they should be swimming like underwater all the time. That sounds weird.
With my wings.
Yeah, like not just like diving.
Yeah.
Weird.
And its evil powers, when in the form of a bird, were said by Campbell to have terrified a minister out of his property. No, not property.
No.
Propriety.
But still, what the fuck?
I don't know. Oh. This is still just quoted exactly verbatim from Wikipedia. The Boobrie's insatiable appetite for livestock posed a threat to local farmers as they relied on their animals as a means of providing income and food, like you said. And Boobrie's were also known to shelter on land in overgrown heather, which is like a bushy kind of plant. Yeah. And because of this, they have not been seen for many years due to widespread burning of heather in areas of Scotland. So Boobrie's aren't really around anymore, I guess.
Oh, that sucks. Why does everywhere have to cut down all the good places? For sure, there's still a lot of untouched areas in Scotland, I am sure. I mean, they got that program now where you buy someone, hint, hint, people, birthdays coming up, a plot of land in Scotland and they call themselves a lord or a lady. Have you guys seen ads for that?
I think it's on like YouTube.
Oh no, I literally get ads for it on Instagram and stuff, probably because like I've like my sister got me a Wee box, a Scotland subscription box for a while.
Yeah.
Which was really cool, by the way. So yeah, it'll be like, hey, you might be interested in, but yeah.
So the next one, I only have one picture of. It's like a creepy old woman. Called there's quite a few different names for her. This seems to be the most common though. It's literally, when you look up pronunciations, a lot of stuff, because their name's spelled Bean Nagi.
Yeah.
But it's pronounced Benia, because why not?
Well, and it kind of reminds me of Monundun. There's like my brown-haired lass or something, and it's spelled, the brown part is spelled similar to this. I don't know. It's like dark. This thing looks dark and creepy as fuck.
Yeah, that was like by far the best picture of it. A lot of it was just really out of focus, like sketches. And I'm like, why are people terrible at taking pictures of their own drawings? So this one was just the best and the creepiest.
Yeah.
So it's a Scottish Gaelic for washerwoman or laundress.
Okay. Yeah.
And the Benia is a female spirit in Scottish folklore that's regarded as an omen of death. So yet another thing that didn't come up during our death omen research.
Oh God, we've come so far since then.
Episode 1, yeah.
We could revisit that for sure.
Yeah, there's been like 80 other death omens that I never found, no matter how many lists I looked at.
Just so many different things the more you dive into each culture. Yeah. I find it hard to like, we have a hard time choosing episodes sometimes. I'll just be like, oh, so many things.
Yeah. So it's regarded as an omen of death and a messenger from the other world. And she is a type of banshee. Now that
I wondered if they would come up. Yeah.
Now that I know that the pronunciation, because it's spelled ban and then SITH, like the cat she was. So I'm like, no wonder it's pronounced banshee.
I have
that makes more sense.
Spelled a similar fashion, I think with a D and HE maybe in the like Outlander books and stuff. Yeah, I feel there's
quite a few spellings that I took
out. Right.
I was like, yeah, there's like 15 spellings, 15 English translation names, and like 8 different ways to say banshee.
Exactly. And that can make it hard, which is too bad because like some different languages kind of fall out of favor, and then you're like, definitely you want to preserve them, but there's definitely 17 million different dialects.
Yeah, exactly. So this banshee haunts the desolate streams or pools and is said to wash the blood from the clothing of those who are about to die.
Oh, so that's what she's called, like the laundress.
Yeah, it's actually really creepy. She like creeps me out, especially with that picture.
The picture is creepy. Yeah, I was like, I've heard of washerwomen following around armies, like, because of course they're gonna need some help with their freaking laundry. They're on the move. There's many soldiers with all these dirty clothes, right? But like that one is, this picture is like a cross between The Ring and something where they have like disgusting dark elf looking ears or something from the friggin' Shining. I don't know. She looks very decrepit and creepy.
So along with there being like a bunch of different words for her, there's a bunch of different like variations to the legend. So just to kind of briefly mention a couple of them, some describe her as having the power to impart knowledge or even grant wishes to those who are able to approach her with caution.
Oh.
Yeah.
That'd be handy.
So
but how do you know if you're gonna be okay to approach her?
It basically said you approach from behind, never from the front, I guess. We'll get
Sounds like the opposite of a horse.
Yeah. So the origin of the spirit is possibly believed to be a woman who died giving birth, and it's said that it's said that she's doomed to perform her tasks until the day that her life would have otherwise ended had she not died while like giving birth to a child.
Damn.
Yeah, which is
particularly like fucking dark and morbidly like workaholic. No. It's like when you hear someone had to pay off the debts of someone that their family member like died or something. You're like, how is this fucking fair? On top of the fact
that stuff sucks.
Yeah. Life's not fucking fair, nor is death.
No. The fate of the Benia is believed to be able to be avoided if all the clothing that's left behind by the deceased woman is washed by like others, so that she doesn't have to, and I guess like kind of like an afterlife kind of thing.
We'll call her the Benihana. No.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
So if somebody else washes her clothes for her, then she isn't like doomed or cursed to wash them herself.
Aww. It's like the, I don't know, Dobby the house elf. He's got to give he's got to get, he's got to get clothing from someone or whatever.
So sad.
Master has given Dobby a sock.
Yeah. A dirty old sock.
Yeah.
By accident. So on the Isle of Mull and Tiri, the Benia is said to have unusual. This is partly why I wanted to do this picture. It said that in this specific island, like isle, that she's said to have unusually long breasts.
She does have some saggy titties in that photo.
Yeah. So this apparently interferes with her being able to wash the clothes because they're just swinging, getting in the way. So she actually just throws
your boobs hang low, do they wobble to and fro?
Yeah. Well, apparently she just throws them over her shoulders.
No!
And lets them hang down her back.
She does throw them over her shoulder like a continental soldier.
Yeah.
Oh God. I thought that was only to be, a jaunty song about balls. Oh my God.
So those that see her are told not to turn away and that they should quietly approach from behind so that she's not aware of them approaching. And this is so stupid. They're supposed to grab one of her breasts and put it in their mouth and then claim to be a foster child.
What the fuck?
I love it. It's so weird. So they just suck on her boob and then be like,
wrath? Wait,
basically.
What? Okay.
Yeah.
Who's doing that? You better be drawing straws.
Yeah. So it's said that if they're able to do this, then she will then impart knowledge to them, whatever knowledge that they desire. And it's also said that if she's approached and the person looks at the clothing she's washing, if it belongs to them or even someone they know, they can stop her from washing it. Somehow, I guess. And this actually is said to stop the person that's fated to die is like death. Yeah, because she's a death omen. So like if they see her washing their own clothes, then they know they're gonna die. So they can stop that, but they can also stop her from washing the clothes of somebody else.
That's interesting. It's just like as long as you catch her in the act or something.
Yeah.
Oh, weird. I'll make sure to interrogate anyone who's ever washing my clothes.
Yeah, Mom. By a stream while naked with her breast like behind her back.
Jesus Christ.
It's so weird. That's why I'm like, this was the most fitting picture as well as the creepiest.
Also, just the visual, I wish this was on Patreon when you just lifted your hands and mimed throwing breasts behind your back. Yeah. It just gave me such a joy. But also, I was gonna say, I've had family members wash. My mom will be like, "Oh, just throw your sweater in the wash." But then I realized I think you had like back when I smoked like some like cigarellos in my pocket, like basically like almost like a pack of smokes or cigars. She like washed it.
Always check the pockets.
Right. I have to do that with my laundry because Pat keeps almost like a hanky sort of, Kleenex situation in his pocket, kind of like an old lady. So I have to always just check his pockets when I do the laundry.
My brother and my dad, because they worked in like carpentry and construction and everything, it was always like carpenters, crayons, pens, everything always in their pockets.
Oh, okay.
It'd be like pencils running through the washer and dryer.
I'm picturing like a golf pencil and like little types of things. Okay.
Like sometimes like chalk line, like stuff. Yeah, all the time.
Whoops. Yeah, you gotta make sure dump those pockets.
So a separate telling is from the Isle of Skye, and it says that the Benia is said to have a squat figure and resemble that of a small, pitiful child.
Okay, then.
Yeah, drastically different, and it said that those that catch her will have their ultimate fate revealed. so they can have their ultimate fate revealed. And if she sees or catches you before you're able to like approach her, that you will lose the use of your limbs, which is intense.
Okay, is she gonna give you like a warning as to when she's doing that?
I have no idea. And
oh god, the stakes are high.
yeah, in Perthshire she is described as small and always dressed in green, which is kind of interesting.
Oh yeah, I have a green woman in my story.
Yeah.
I wonder if it's like a green witch kind of situation.
Maybe.
Green witch, they're more like kind of in the plant and herbal realms of the like witchy stuff.
And it said that she can be caught, this like variation of her can be caught by getting between her and the stream where I guess she washes the clothes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So like vampires, they can't go past running water.
Yeah.
It's like what?
The Benia is said to sing a mournful song as she washes the clothes of someone who will meet a sudden death by violence. Like specifically, it's the only time she sings.
Oh god.
And she's often so absorbed by singing and washing the clothes that she could actually be captured. And there were stories, I think, about one, and it was only a couple sentences. It was just not super interesting.
Okay. Well, okay. Yeah. No, I get it. They're vulnerable when they're
because she's like washing the clothes, and then because she's doing that and singing, she's like double distracted.
Yeah, I suppose you would be.
And this variation, she's also described as having physical deformities, like only having one nostril.
Okay.
Yeah. Also having protruding front teeth or red webbed feet.
Is this sorry, the teeth? Is this before dentistry? The modern dentistry.
Maybe. It's Scotland.
I do have two nostrils, but I've also been the dentist. No, one of them told me I had nose polyps, and that's probably why I'm more of a mouth breather, because it's a little bit harder for me to breathe through my nose.
Oh, I probably do too. I wouldn't be surprised. I've always been a mouth breather.
My family used to make fun of me a little bit. They'd be like, "You sound like Darth Vader." You know. Like, sorry.
No, I have to like consciously think to like breathe out of my nose.
Yeah, sometimes it's easier. Mouth is open.
Yeah. So I do have one story. This was just from Wikipedia again. This is how they had it written. It said one popular Highlands story connected with the washing of death shrouds regards the so-called mermaid of Loch Slin. Yeah, she was a maiden from Cromarty. And
fun
she was
town names.
Yeah, she was walking along a path by the side of this loch one Sabbath morning. And after turning a corner, she saw a tall woman standing in the water, knocking clothes on a stone with a bludgeon.
Okay.
So doing like the tumble original, like
more
heavy cycle.
Laundry. Yeah.
Yeah.
You gotta dry it on a bush, whatever. You gotta do what you gotta do.
On a nearly bleaching green, she observed more than 30 smocks and shirts, all smeared with blood. And shortly following the appearance of this figure, the roof of Farn Abbey collapsed during worship service, and this buried the congregation in debris and killed 36 people. And historically, the abbey roof did collapse in 1742, with the death toll believed to be nearly 50 people.
Whoa, okay.
Yeah. And she was like washing like blood covered clothes of like 30, so like smocks were just like spread out everywhere.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like, but not, that was in, she had like a premonition?
No, she was walking and she saw the Benia like doing this and washing all these clothes that were spread around her, and then because it's a death omen, like I don't know how long later the one like roof collapsed and a bunch of people did die.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I had like a flash.
Mm-hmm. And the last one, I saved the best for last because it's also just the weirdest picture I can think of.
Gotta save the best for last. No. Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna look. Oh shit. Oh sorry. Yeah. I thought
it's
you.
Just
I thought you. Sorry.
No, there's
oh,
two
my
of
God.
Yeah, it's so weird. I love it.
Am I currently playing Dungeons and Dragons? I don't recognize this creature.
That's actually, when I was looking it up, the name is very similar to a Dungeons and Dragons like creature.
Oh wow.
So, yeah.
Too funny.
And I think it's probably based off of this because the name is slightly different, but it looks very similar. It just looks more like ogre-ish.
That's so funny.
Yeah. Where this is supposed to be like a furry kind of bird looking thing.
Right.
And yeah.
I mean, it is, but it has a hand.
Yeah. We'll get to it. It's weird.
Okay.
I also couldn't find I couldn't find like a pronunciation.
Okay.
I'm just gonna say the Falcon. I don't know. Fachan. Fauchan.
Yeah, Falcon. I don't know. I heard someone say earlier today, like, my pronunciation has a lot of heart, if not a lot of accuracy or something like that.
Yeah.
That was like beautiful.
So the Fauchan is a Scottish folklore monster or giant.
Ooh.
That was described by John Francis Campbell in Popular Tales of the West Highlands. And it's described as having a single eyeball in the middle of its face.
Its whole head looks like an eyeball.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It has a single hand that's like on an arm that protrudes from the middle of its chest instead of having arms at the side. It's just got one long one coming out the front.
Okay, yeah.
And
I saw one. It's weird.
Got a single leg emerging from its central axis. So it's just got a one leg. It looks, honestly, looking at this picture minimized, in the bottom of my screen, it kind of looks like a drumstick. A chicken drumstick.
Yeah, I was gonna say there's the penguin resemblance, like, because it just like it would like waddle, like short legs, like squat body, and like not super big wings or anything.
Well, it's just got a front arm. It's like doesn't have wings or anything. It's so weird.
No, that's true. It looks bird-like because of the feather, like, you know, whatever.
That's kind of why I chose these two pictures, because in the smothering of all the Dungeons and Dragons, like full ogre-y looking spin-offs that didn't have any feathers, this is supposed to have feathers. So that's why I chose these pictures.
Okay. Yeah, it looks like feathers.
Yeah, a single leg emerging from its central axis. It has a single tuft, I love that word, of hair on the top of its head. And Campbell says, quote, "It was easier to take a mountain from the root than to bend that tuft." So apparently he's got real strong hair.
Yeah. Recurring theme here. Strong hair.
And Campbell says the possible influence of creatures for this one possibly is the Arabic tradition such as the Nasnas or Sikh, which describes half of a human being and hopping on one leg with a great agility. So, I mean, it is kind of half of a human being. It's only got one leg and one arm. It's just in the middle of everything.
But how can it hop with great agility?
I don't know.
I am very confused.
So, there's what this says, Douglas. Oh, this is just from Wikipedia again. Douglas Hyde quotes Campbell's description is in his collection of Irish folklore, Beside the Fire, and refers to an Irish manuscript in which a similar monster is described. So this could be the same one or like a similar one. Quote, he had a very thick iron-filled club in his skinny hand and 20 chains out of it. So he's got like weapons. And each chain had 50 apples on it. And it's so weird. A venomous spell on each great apple of them, and a girdle of skins of deer and rosebuck around the thing that was his body. So he's got some clothes, I guess. And one eye one eye in the forehead of his black-faced countenance, and one bare, hard, very hairy hand coming out of his chest, and one veiny, thick-soled leg supporting him. Sorry, I'm laughing too much.
It is an accurate description, but also it was getting very deep.
Thick and veiny.
Whoa.
And supporting him, and a close, firm, dark blue mantle of twisted, hard, thick feathers protecting his body, and surely he was more like unto devil than to man. End quote.
Well, he doesn't really look like a man.
No.
I mean, he looks like a one-eyed, one-horn flying no, people either. No, he's got one arm, hand thing. He's got one taloned, like, foot claw. His head is a giant eyeball. He looks like a Greek myth.
Did you you can go to the last picture if you haven't already. It's like the same thing, but somebody's just like really neon drawing of it. I love it.
I think that was the one I was looking at. Oh shit, now I gotta go to the other one. Oh, it's the foot. Oh my god. It looks so weird just standing on one leg.
Yeah.
It's like that weird leg lamp from that Christmas movie.
Yes. 100%.
Oh my god.
So Hyde suggests that both descriptions represent branches of a common Gaelic tradition, and that the word Fochan or Fochan may be diminutive of the Irish, Fathalach, which means giant, and then related to the Scottish famhair, which means giant. So it could be like a combination of those two. Yeah.
I definitely believe in a lot of cool things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's a brief thing on a few of the ones I found probably the most information on that I thought were kind of funny and fun to look at.
I enjoyed that very muchly.
Yeah.
And at the same time, I don't think it's too much to say that I wouldn't mind doing another deep dive on it, because there's so many cool things I know I didn't get to. But I don't know. It's just like, damn it. We're like a little bit like America, where they're like, I can't believe things have 400-year-old legends. It's like we're from North America, so we don't have as old stuff. And then when we go to like look up Celtic lore or Norse mythology,
it's like the 1200s,
right? Or like even like we've dabbled a little bit in a few places in Asia, but not nearly anything around the world. Oh, it's just so much fun. I don't know. Oh, I love it. Those are some crazy pictures. I'm gonna have to post some of them on our
I thought they were so funny. I was like obsessed with them. So yeah, check out our Instagram and check out our website for the pictures because it's worth it. It's great.
Oh, hell yeah. And hopefully by this time we have some great pictures from Vegas too.
Yes.
Next week, join us for travel crimes.
Yeah. Because since we survived our vacation.
What's that?
Since we know we survived our vacation, we'll talk about travel crimes.
I mean, yes, exactly. That's the perfect time to research something like that. It's once you come back from being in an airplane.
Yeah. in a foreign land and like don't know anybody. Yeah, so foreign.
Although at this point in time, we're starting to act a lot like Americans. But anyway, thank you for listening.
Yes. Subscribe, follow.
Yeah, we appreciate all the ratings. I really do. We've been getting a few on Good Pods and Spotify and stuff like that. We have every time I look on our Spotify, it's 5 stars. I appreciate it. Those who like us a lot. We love you guys.
Yes.
But yeah, we'll see you next week.
Yes. Bye.
Bye-bye.
This has been Castles and Cryptids. You can listen to our podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, Anchor, Breaker, Pocket Cast, and our YouTube channel. Please rate, review, and subscribe wherever you listen. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and Reddit. On our website, you can listen to all of our episodes as well as view pictures for each of our segments. Check out our Patreon page to view all of our tiers and become a Patreon supporter today to unlock monthly bonus episodes and behind-the-scenes content. We are working on an Ask Us Anything. You can submit questions by social media or by email at castlesandcryptids@gmail.com. Do you have a spooky ghost story, a creepy cryptid sighting, or a thrilling true crime tale you would like to share and have us include in a future episode? Send us your listener story by social media or by email. Please include the name that you would like mentioned. Our music is by Kobe Fair. Our logo and artwork is by Antonio Garcia. Thanks for listening.